She was christened Janice Carol Bilton, but had been known as Carol since childhood. Hardly anyone knew about her first name. No one was likely to connect plain, homely Janice Bilton to the glamorous Carol Bilton. She slept until 4 that evening and was famished when she woke up. Her last meal had been dinner the night before. After taking a shower and dressing in jeans and a green t-shirt, Janice went in search of a restaurant and a newspaper to look at jobs while she ate. There was a paper stand outside the motel and a McDonald's across the street. She bought a paper and headed for the Golden Arches. There were 3 other people there. One was a bald older man in a suit, eating alone. The other 2 were a young man in his 20s and a girl who looked about 18, dressed in sports clothes. After a glance, they paid her no more attention. Janice smiled wryly as she made her way to the counter to order. Carol Bilton had never attracted so little attention. Janice grabbed her tray of food and strode to a table. She bit into her chicken sandwich, ate a handful of fries, and drank some Coke before turning to the paper, where there were a long list of jobs displayed. She checked the ones she thought she might qualify for. After finishing her meal, she tucked the paper under her arm and checked her watch. It was after 5, too late to do anything about a job today, so she headed for her car. Once inside, she opened the paper once more. It may be too late for a job hunt, but it wasn't too late to search for a place to live. The motel was too expensive. She marked some possibilities and started out. The first place was on Cherry Tree Lane. She crawled down the street, trying to see the numbers on the houses, when she heard a shout. She jerked her head around, screamed, and slammed on the brakes. A child, no more than a year old, stumbled from between 2 cars and into the road in front of her. Frightened by the screeching tires and the scream, the child plopped down and began to bawl. Janice leapt from her car and dashed forward to pick up the toddler. There now," she crooned. "You're all right." "No thanks to you," said an angry voice. Janice turned and found herself face to face with a policeman. Her eyes grew wide. "Don't you know you're supposed to watch where you're driving?" "Sorry, I was trying to see the numbers on the houses. Anyway, no one's hurt. I can't see why you're so angry." She looked up at him. He looked to be about 30 and was unattractive. "Someone would have been hurt if I hadn't yelled in time." He looked her over. "Thank you for yelling in time." She noticed his attention on her scar and felt her cheeks heat. His expression softened. "It really wasn't your fault. I yelled at you because I was frightened for the baby. You wouldn't have been able to see her until she came out from between the cars." A frantic young housewife hurried over to take the now quiet baby from Janice. "She's all right," Janice said. "She was just frightened." "Oh, thank you," the mother said. "She moves so fast it's hard to keep up with her. I think I'm going to have to tie her to me." The mother thanked Janice again and then rushed away. "You said you were looking at numbers?" the officer said after an awkward silence. "Maybe I can help you." "I was looking for 312. I'm trying to find a room to rent." He beamed. "It's just 3 houses further down. Come on, I'll show you. As a matter of fact, I live there." "You do?" "Yes." Janice started to get in her car, but he placed a hand on her arm. "You are still much too shaken to drive. I'll drive." She looked down at her shaking hands and got into the passenger seat. He parked in front of a giant white house. There were flower beds scattered about the freshly mowed lawn. She followed the policeman up to the wide front porch. It had a swing, and a few chairs were scattered around. He held the door and ushered her inside. "Hey, Molly," he called. "I forgot to introduce myself," he said to Janice. "I'm Stan Marks." He turned back to her and extended his hand. She took it with a smile. "I'm Janice Bilton." "Glad to meet you, Janice. I see you're calmer now." He let go of her hand after holding it a beat longer than necessary. "Yes, I feel much better now." "Did you call me, Stan?" Janice turned to face a tall, willowy woman. She was majestic, and her shiny gray hair looked like a crown. The woman radiated so much warmth that Janice found herself smiling back at this splendid figure. "I did." Stan moved forward and put an arm around the woman. "This here is Janice Bilton. She's looking for a room." "Hello, Janice." Molly put an arm about Janice's shoulders. "We have a lovely room, and any friend of Stan is always welcomed."